Ah, it only took one sentence for the air to change. Nah, the room was calm, neutral, filled with rehearsed smiles and stiff shoulders, everyone pretending to be untouchable. Then it happened. Your name sliced through the quiet like a blade, sharp, clean, without fear, without apology. And suddenly the balance shifted, subtle but undeniable, the walls themselves leaning in to listen. Faces froze mid-expression, spines straightened, hands twitched, and even the air seemed heavier, saturated with tension no one could name. You didn't move, didn't defend, didn't explain, nah, you just existed, letting the silence carry its own power, letting the moment hum with inevitability. Truth didn't elevate you, it didn't crown you, it simply revealed the cracks in everyone else, exposed the imbalance they'd been hiding behind their fragile confidence. Panic didn't erupt. It whispered in glances, in shallow breaths, in eyes that flicked toward one another seeking reassurance that wasn't there. The crowd wanted chaos, spectacle, confrontation. Nah, but all you gave was calm, unshakable, stillness sharp enough to cut through their pretense. Proof? Context? Evidence? Irrelevant, their scramble for control only highlighted their fragility. Every subtle movement they made betrayed them, every calculated gesture failed, while you remained untouchable, observing the fracture of their narrative. The room's energy bent toward you, unavoidable, and suddenly every lie they relied on trembled under the weight of one spoken truth. One sentence, just one, nah, and everything they thought was safe became fragile, exposed, meaningless. Smiles froze mid-curve, words died before they left their mouths, hearts raced under carefully maintained masks. You were the pivot, the axis of inevitability, bending reality without a single motion, without a single word. Calm became terror, observation became judgment, and they understood too late. They had been standing on sand while you were on bedrock. The shift was quiet, almost invisible, but devastating. Every attempt to regain composure failed, slipping through trembling fingers, collapsing under the weight of a moment they couldn't control. They scanned, calculated, searched desperately for something. Anything. But nothing could reach you. You didn't speak, didn't move, didn't explain. Presence alone shredded their structure, piece by trembling piece, leaving them scrambling in shadows that were already yours. Their false sense of control evaporated under a quiet they couldn't fight, a stillness they couldn't touch. And in that stillness, the truth became undeniable. The panic wasn't yours. The collapse wasn't yours. You were the unshakable center of a spinning room. Untouchable, inevitable, impossible to break. Every glance that landed on you carried fear. Every thought of them echoed your dominance without effort. The truth didn't shout. It didn't attack. It simply existed, and in its presence the world tilted, leaving them exposed, scrambling, and completely powerless. Lies need witnesses. Truth only needs oxygen. It drifts in unnoticed until it lands, sharp and undeniable. The room doesn't scream. It shivers, faces twisting as panic coils in veins they thought steady. Every illusion they built, carefully measured smiles, polished stories, hidden agendas, crumbles silently, collapsing into the space your presence commands. Screenshots, excuses, explanations. Nothing matters when the air itself exposes the hollow structure of their confidence. Fear mutates, subtle at first, a twitch of the hand, a flash of eye. Then it grows, gnawing at composure, bending thought into panic, forcing bodies to betray what minds try to conceal. They clutch at scraps of logic, desperate to create control from nothing, fumbling in shadows while the truth hovers above them like a blade. You remain still, untouchable, letting their scrambling paint the picture they cannot hide, their weakness illuminated without a word from you. Proof becomes a joke. Nah, flimsy, transparent, meaningless. Every attempt to rationalize, manipulate, or spin a story flares into absurdity, exposing cracks they didn't know existed. They reach for reality like it's a lifeline, not realizing the rope has always been in your hands. Presence alone suffocates them, a quiet predator stalking, letting panic spread like wildfire through their carefully constructed facades. You don't act, you don't speak, you simply exist, and their chaos does the rest. Every heartbeat they try to control falters. Nah, every calculated glance trembles. Hands hover, mouths twitch, minds spin faster than their bodies can move. They want a reason, a loophole, a miracle, anything to escape the gravity of exposure. You don't give it. You don't need to. Their fear sharpens, twists, gnaws at the edges of their thought, while your calm settles like iron over fire, undeniable and inescapable. And in the stillness, panic blooms fully. Time stretches, evidence becomes meaningless, and their scramble for validation turns into silent self-torture. You don't lift a finger, don't raise a voice, don't react. The storm is theirs alone. They choke on their desperation while reality bends toward your certainty, their collapse and art painted in fear and quiet awe. The truth doesn't shout. It doesn't fight. It simply exists, lethal, unstoppable, untouchable, and they have nowhere to run. Notice who's sweating and who's silent. The trembling hands, the shallow breaths, the forced smiles hiding teeth that bite in panic. This isn't about you. The storm in the room isn't a reaction to your existence. It's a fracture in their own control. You were manageable when they could distort the narrative, unseen, misunderstood, but now visibility has sharpened, and clarity terrifies them. Every whisper, every sideways glance, every desperate attempt to rewrite reality is an instinct, a reflex, not power. They are emergency protocols in motion, flailing against a truth they can't touch. Noise erupts around you. Accusations thrown like stones at a shadow. Character assassinations hit thin air, slicing nothing but their own desperation. They search for weakness, a soft spot, a crack in your calm, but your presence bends around it, untouchable, a predator in plain sight. Panic isn't about reputation. It's the slow unraveling of control, the exposure of every corner they thought hidden. The room doesn't tremble because of you. It trembles because the foundation they built on lies just collapsed quietly under the weight of reality. They attack invisibly. Digging through words, context, faces. Every strategy is reactionary, born from fear, not calculation. Proofs, witnesses, allies. They reach for it frantically, hoping to buy time, a moment to patch the cracks they never noticed widening. You watch without moving, your stillness amplifying their chaos, a mirror reflecting the terror they can't admit. Panic is contagious, but here it isn't yours. You are the eye in their hurricane, calm, measured, untouchable. Every gesture, every muttered denial, every forced explanation, betrays more than it conceals. They brandish accusations, hoping the sound of words can substitute for substance. The louder they scramble, the clearer the truth becomes. They aren't fighting you, they're fighting themselves. Your calm doesn't provoke, it exposes. Your presence doesn't threaten, it clarifies. And in their desperation, the very room bends toward inevitability, showing them the emptiness of control they clung to for so long. And in that moment, realization burns quietly. Panic is never about the one standing still. It's about the one losing grip. Every emergency protocol, every frantic maneuver, every faltering voice, it's a map of their fear, not a reflection of your power. You don't need to react, you don't need to justify, you don't need to fight. Their chaos paints itself across the room while you remain untouchable, still, inevitable, the silent axis around which their world begins to twist. Predators don't announce themselves. Neither do kings. Nah, you waited, watched, measured every breath, every twitch, every lie they believed would remain hidden. Silence wasn't weakness. It was a blade tucked in your sleeve, a storm coiling patiently in the shadows. While the world rehearsed excuses, rehearsed distractions, rehearsed lies to feel safe, you collected leverage, stacked moments, memorized patterns, and understood the fragility no one else could see. Someone finally spoke your truth aloud, but nah, it wasn't a revelation for them. It was confirmation for you. Every word they spat, every accusation, every attempted control only proved what you already knew. You didn't need to speak first, nah, because power doesn't shout, it waits. The quiet built tension, sharpened instincts, trained patience into precision. Their panic, their scrambling, their desperate measures, they are the echoes of the energy you harnessed silently for years. While they acted, you observed, cataloging their weaknesses, anticipating their movements, turning their ignorance into your inevitability. The silence became a weapon, each day a sharpened edge, hidden in plain sight. Every meeting, every interaction, every unnoticed glance was a piece of leverage they couldn't see, a fragment of control you carried quietly, effortlessly. Someone finally said your name because the pressure you built was unavoidable, because their structure couldn't hold the weight of truth any longer. Your restraint wasn't patience. It was dominance disguised as calm, quiet as strategy, silent as a predator circling the prey it already knows it will devour. They thought your silence meant compliance. They thought it meant weakness. Nah. But it was far more dangerous. Each unspoken word, each measured pause, each calculated absence built an empire of inevitability around you. They were rehearsing panic, rehearsing damage control, while you moved without revealing your hand, your mind humming with the rhythm of quiet calculation. When the first words finally fell, it wasn't your voice, but your presence that hit, a storm already formed, unstoppable, undeniable. And in that silence, in that patient restraint, the room shifted before a single syllable escaped your lips. Their chaos was a reflection of the tension you created, their panic a monument to your quiet, measured power. You didn't have to act. The world spoke for you. The truth couldn't wait any longer. And still you remained above it, untouchable, calm, inevitable. The first sound wasn't yours, but the victory? The leverage, the weight of inevitability, belonged entirely to you. When truth stands tall, evidence starts begging. You see it in the eyes that dart, in the voices that tremble. They speak politely, ask cautiously, but the panic coils beneath every word, desperate to regain control over a moment that already slipped from their hands. The demand for proof is never neutral. It is a confession disguised as skepticism, a silent acknowledgement that reality is stronger than their lies. They clutch at receipts, screenshots, excuses, thinking time can save them. But time bends around the inevitable, and their scrambling only highlights how exposed they are. You don't raise a voice, you don't argue, you exist above it, letting the weight of truth press into their bones until their own chaos answers the question for them. Proof is a currency you don't trade in. It's for those who fear the silence of inevitability. Every attempt to validate yourself feeds weakness. Every explanation hands a tool to someone already unraveling. They think asking questions gives them leverage, but in reality, every syllable of interrogation is a window into their panic, a mirror reflecting the fragility of control they believed was theirs. You remain still, silent, observing the cracks expand. Letting the desperation grow sharper, louder, more revealing, without ever moving a finger. Explanations are a leash, And you've already broken every chain they hoped would bind reality to their comfort. While they scramble for context, rationalization, validation, you hold dominion in quiet patience, untouched, untouchable, immune to their noise. Every request for proof only confirms the imbalance, highlighting the distance between their panic and your calm. Silence becomes a weapon, stillness a crown, and their flailing attempts at control paint the portrait of inevitability they cannot escape. Nah, all while you remain the axis around which the room tilts. Notice how panic mutates. Politeness becomes pressure. Strategy becomes frantic improvisation. Nah. The weak reach for validation because reality burns too hot to handle. Evidence doesn't convince you. They already exist beyond need, beyond doubt, beyond negotiation. Their questions echo in the space you occupy, sharp, empty, trembling. While your presence alone carries finality, leaving no room for debate, no space for them to claim what they've already lost. You don't negotiate with panic. Nah. You observe it, feed it, twist it against them. The room becomes a reflection of their fear, a landscape of chaos that exists because of their own failure to contain truth. You are calm. You are still. You are inevitable. Proof is meaningless, explanation irrelevant, and in the quiet aftermath of their scrambling, the only thing that matters is the weight of your presence pressing down, unstoppable, untouchable, undeniable. Every story has a crack. Yours just reached daylight. What once looked solid now shows stress lines running through every sentence, every defense, every rehearsed memory. And the light makes them nervous. Contradictions don't explode. They seep out slowly. First a pause too long, then a detail misplaced, then a version that no longer matches the last one. The narrative doesn't fall yet. It trembles, struggling to hold shape. You say nothing, do nothing, and that restraint becomes unbearable for a system addicted to performance. Allies begin to hesitate. Loyalty suddenly feels expensive when truth starts asking questions. Voices that once spoke loudly soften. Messages go unanswered. Eye contact disappears at the worst moments. Because self-preservation kicks in before integrity ever does. Defenders fade quietly, not in protest but in calculation, sensing the structure can no longer support their weight. The story needs energy to survive, and fear drains it fast. You remain still, watching gravity do what gravity always does. The implosion isn't dramatic. It's humiliating in its slowness. One excuse contradicts another. One defender undermines the next. And the audience starts noticing patterns no one intended to reveal. A system built on performance requires constant maintenance, constant belief, constant applause. Truth disrupts that rhythm, and without rhythm, the structure turns inward, consuming itself. You didn't dismantle anything. You simply stopped participating. They try to patch it. New explanations layered over old lies, hoping volume can replace coherence. But every patch makes the crack wider. Every addition adds weight to a frame already buckling. The narrative starts defending itself instead of explaining reality, and that's when the collapse becomes irreversible. You stand outside the wreckage, untouched, because you were never inside the illusion to begin with. This is inevitability. Not revenge, not conquest. Performance collapses when exposed to reality because it has no spine, only repetition. You waited while they performed, while they exaggerated, while they adjusted the lighting to hide the flaws. Now daylight does the work for you. The story eats itself, the defenders vanish, and all that remains is the quiet certainty that you never needed to attack. Time and truth handled it cleanly. You didn't wake up, you sharpened. Every scar, every betrayal, every silent humiliation became a blueprint. Pain stopped being punishment and started being data, a map of weakness and opportunity etched into your bones. Every stab of disappointment, every whispered doubt, every sideways glance collected quietly until the chaos of the past no longer broke you, it taught you. Emotions once unchained now follow strategy, thoughts measured, intentions precise. And suddenly every reaction around you is predictable, every falter visible, every attempt at deception exposed before it even reaches your awareness. You move through the world not reacting, but calculating, observing, reading currents and shadows like a predator who knows the paths of every prey in the room. The trail became information. Patterns emerged where confusion once lived. Faces, words, alliances, they no longer manipulate your feelings, they feed your understanding. Each insult, each slight, each overconfident gesture becomes coordinates on a mental map, guiding decisions with the precision that fear can never imitate. Calm becomes armor, patience becomes weapon. And in that quiet mastery, chaos around you bends subtly to your presence, reshaping every weak foundation into a display of inevitability. You're no longer reactive, you're surgical. Watching, waiting, calculating, and moving only when the impact is exact, unavoidable, and perfect. The internal shift isn't visible to the world. It hums quietly beneath your surface. It doesn't shout, it doesn't announce, but it radiates through every step, every glance, every silence you hold. Pain is no longer a burden, it's insight. Chaos is no longer frightening, it's instruction. Every moment that once disoriented now positions you to strike with clarity. Every opponent, every doubter, every observer becomes a node in a system you command, mapped and understood before they even realize their vulnerability. This awakening is ruthless. A silent recalibration where every impulse is measured, every reaction weighed. And nothing escapes the clarity forged in shadows. Emotional storms no longer dictate your actions. They inform them, sharpen them, focus them like a scalpel. You move unseen through chaos, calm yet devastating. Every reaction you provoke a lesson. Every misstep around you another confirmation of your inevitability. You are no longer just surviving the world, you are shaping it, quietly, precisely, mercilessly. And the upgrade is undeniable, irreversible, and terrifying to anyone who dares measure themselves against you. In this new clarity, the past becomes leverage, mistakes become strategy, and fear itself bends toward understanding. Every glance, every hesitation, every whispered lie around you is data. Every attempt to manipulate or control is noted and stored. Calm is no longer comfort, it is authority. Precision no longer requires effort, it is instinct. The transformation isn't gentle, it isn't polite, it's total. And those around you sense it without ever seeing the mechanics, trembling as the predator in quiet mastery moves through the room, inevitable, unstoppable, and entirely in command. Confidence ruins their entire strategy. It fractures the carefully constructed illusions they live inside. They don't need you to falter. They need you to question yourself, to step back from the truth you already hold and wade into their moral fog. Gaslighting doesn't roar. It whispers, hints, nudges, making hesitation feel like wisdom while uncertainty spreads like smoke across every thought. Every both sides argument, every polite suggestion to reconsider, is a trap, a mirror to distort reality, a slow pull of the leash that they hope you will accept. But you feel it. The manipulation, the tension, the desperate attempts to bend your certainty, and still you stand unshaken, untouchable, aware. They craft their attacks quietly, turning every pause, every thought, every instinct into a battlefield. Polite questions hide knives, half-truths become nets, and the moral fog they conjure is designed to suffocate clarity. Every word aimed to make you hesitate, every implication to make you doubt. Na falls harmlessly against the armor of presence and focus you forged in silence. Their strategies are elegant in theory, but fail under the weight of someone who sees through the pattern. Someone whose calm is not fragile, whose certainty is a weapon. Self-belief here isn't performance. Nah, it doesn't need applause, recognition, or explanation. It sits like iron in your chest, heavy, solid, unmoving, and invisible to those who try to manipulate it. The moment you stop questioning yourself, the chains they tried to wrap around perception snap quietly, almost unnoticed, leaving panic and confusion in the room like smoke after a fire. Their influence vanishes because it only exists when doubt breathes. Nah, and you are already beyond it. Grounded, silent, unstoppable, a predator in plain sight. They scramble subtly. Subtle changes in tone, calculated hesitation, repeated questions, all designed to erode, to destabilize, to make you stumble without giving them a visible fight. But the stillness you maintain becomes a mirror, reflecting every flaw in their approach, exposing the fragility of control that has always been borrowed. They realize too late that manipulation only works against those who doubt. And you have already discarded hesitation like a worn coat, leaving them grasping at empty air. Confidence isn't a shield. It's gravity. It bends the room around you, distorts attempts at control, and anchors every interaction to inevitability. Every tactic, every whisper, every pause meant to make you second-guess dissolves against the quiet authority you embody. Their panic grows, sharp, desperate, uncoordinated. And it is yours to observe, to catalog, to let burn itself out while you remain untouched, untouchable, and immovable. A living proof that certainty cannot be negotiated, bought, or broken. Say less. Let them unravel louder. Every pause becomes a blade, every silence a mirror, reflecting their desperation. They scramble to fill the void you refuse to occupy, inventing motives, imagining threats, and accusing shadows that don't exist. No posts, no speeches, no explanations, just your calm presence radiating inevitability, forcing them to confront the chaos of their own imagination. Every attempt to provoke you becomes louder, more frantic, more revealing. And the room bends subtly, slowly, around the weight of your stillness. Restraint becomes your weapon. Sharper than any words, deadlier than any confrontation. Each withheld response amplifies their panic. Each ignored accusation fractures their control, leaving them exposed to themselves. They speak faster, stumble harder, invent crises from nothing. While you remain unmoved, untouchable, you're quiet, a predator circling in plain sight. Silence isn't emptiness, it's gravity. Bending reality toward your command without a single syllable escaping your lips. Imagination punishes them harder than confrontation ever could. Because they are forced to create the chaos themselves. They replay interactions, twist intentions, rewrite context in a futile attempt to regain leverage, but every fabricated fear only tightens the hold of inevitability. Your calm, your stillness, your refusal to react becomes a living weight, pressing on their nerves, their logic, their self-assuredness. Until their structure collapses quietly under pressure you didn't lift a finger to apply. This is orchestration. Subtle, precise, and terrifying. No gesture wasted, no breath miscalculated, every reaction arranged without effort. You no longer move to respond, you exist, and the room reacts. The panic writes itself. The missteps reveal themselves without your touch. They search for meaning, seek signals, invent answers to questions that were never asked. while your silence hums with authority, with inevitability, and with the power of someone who commands by withholding. Graduation from reaction to control happens quietly. A storm contained within a single heartbeat. You no longer chase outcomes or validation. You guide them invisibly, letting fear, uncertainty, and imagination paint the path you already decided. Every tremor, every faltering glance, every whispered doubt around you confirms the supremacy of restraint. Silence is no longer empty. It is conquest. It is inevitability. It is domination. It is the truth that moves the room while your lips remain closed, untouchable, unstoppable, and entirely in command. The verdict was obvious the moment truth spoke your name. It didn't rattle you. It rattled them. Faces froze, breaths caught, confidence leaked from bodies that had rehearsed control for years. No one shouted, no one applauded, yet the room shifted like tectonic plates under silent pressure. You didn't need to defend, to argue, or to justify. Presence alone became judgment, proof unnecessary because the world recognized what you already embodied. Every flutter of panic, every twitch of doubt, confirmed the balance had quietly tipped, and you were the immovable axis around which reality now rotated. Closure is for the unsure. Apologies for the weak. You walk in silence, measured, deliberate, colder than expectation, untouchable by the petty logic of those still scrambling for validation. The moment didn't expose you. It illuminated them, highlighting the cracks, the flinches, the desperate attempts to manipulate perception. While they search for receipts, whispers, evidence, you move differently, quietly, deliberately, letting inevitability unfold without interference. Each step, each pause, each measured glance exerts authority without noise. And the room bends subtly to a presence that no one can control. People chase proof because proof offers delay. It buys seconds, allows hesitation, feeds the illusion of agency. But you don't negotiate with illusions. You exist beyond them, observing as panic spirals into desperation. Their questions, their rationalizations, their frantic energy paint a portrait of collapse while you remain still, serene, surgical in the quiet dominance that doesn't need recognition. Every attempt to validate themselves, only sharpens the contrast between their chaos and your inevitability. A mirror they cannot avoid and a truth they cannot reverse. The crown never touched your head because it never needed to. Authority followed you silently, invisibly, through sheer presence. Every hesitation around you, every twitch of fear, every scramble for control becomes testament to your calibration. Your stillness a predator, circling in plain sight. They may continue hunting, questioning, seeking proof. But you are untouchable, untouched, operating in a realm where their panic no longer reaches. Their world bends to inevitability while you remain unmoved, a force not to be argued with, not to be understood, only felt and respected in the tremor of absence. This is your coronation. Not loud, not declared, but absolute. The room may whisper, scan, speculate, hunt for justification, yet it cannot alter what already exists. You don't rise, you replace the atmosphere, shifting reality around you like gravity itself bends to presence. While they search endlessly for what cannot be found, you stand resolute, untouchable, unreachable. The quiet storm in the eye of their panic, inevitable, undeniable, and complete. Control is an illusion, a lie they wrap themselves in, thinking it would protect them. They believed they could manipulate you, bend you to their will. But they had no clue what they were really messing with. The power you hold was never in their grasp. It was always yours, hidden in plain sight. They saw your silence, your calm, and mistook it for weakness. But silence? It's the calm before the storm. For too long they danced in the shadows, thinking they could control every step you took. They believed that their games, their manipulations, would keep you trapped in a cage of their making. But what they failed to see, what they could never understand, is that your stillness wasn't a sign of submission. It was a quiet storm, gathering strength, waiting for the right moment to break free. And now, that moment is here. You've shed the illusion of weakness, and they're left watching as you rise from the ashes they thought would consume you. They built their empire on lies, their comfort on your compliance. But they never realized that by pushing you, by underestimating you, they were pushing you closer to awakening something that could never be controlled. It's funny, isn't it? How people think they hold all the cards. How they think they're the ones in control. They never see the forces they're playing with until those forces turn against them. But now the tables have turned, and the storm they thought they could control is heading straight for them. They underestimated you. They thought you'd stay down forever, but they made the ultimate mistake. They thought you were just another pawn in their game. Nah, you were the king all along, and now you're ready to make your move. The moment they stepped too far, the moment they pushed you too hard, they sealed their fate. The power you hold? They've seen it now, and they can't unsee it. They've awoken something inside of you, something they were never meant to witness. And as you rise, they'll feel it. They'll know the truth. You're no longer their puppet. You're the one in control now, and they'll never be able to take that power back. This is your time. The silence? It's over. The storm? It's here. And they're standing in its path. They treated you like a pawn. They thought you were just another face in the crowd. They didn't see you for what you truly were. Nah, they saw a simple player. Nothing special, just another piece to move around in their twisted game. But what they didn't know? You weren't a pawn. You were a queen in disguise. They didn't know they were messing with fire. Their arrogance clouded their vision. They thought they had it all figured out. To them, you were nothing more than a tool, something to use and discard. But their eyes were too blind to see what you were capable of. They pushed you too far, and now they'll see the consequences. They didn't realize they were unleashing something far darker than they could ever control. What they thought was a simple mistake? Nah, it's the first of many. Because you don't just come back from underestimation, you rise. And when you do, it's like a force they never saw coming. Now, they'll wish they never played that hand. They didn't see the storm brewing inside you. The quiet rage, the hidden strength, the fire waiting for its moment. They thought they knew you. They thought they could read you, but they were wrong. They saw the calm, the silence, the way you blended in with the world. What they didn't see? The chaos hidden beneath that calm exterior. They never realized the beast they were awakening. They thought they'd subdued you, but they never knew the power that was slowly building, waiting for its time. For too long, they mistook your silence for weakness. They saw you as someone who would always take the back seat, someone who would always be pushed aside, but they failed to understand. They failed to see that there was more to you than they ever imagined, more than just the quiet observer. You were never passive. You were patient. And patience, my friend, is a force to be reckoned with. Every moment of silence, every time you stood still, was a moment of growing strength. They couldn't see it. They couldn't feel it. But you could. Inside you, the storm was gathering. Every insult, every step they took to keep you down only fed the fire. It wasn't a calm spirit they had to fear. It was a beast in disguise, waiting for the right moment to rise. The moment they thought they had you on the ropes, they were setting themselves up for the most devastating mistake of their lives. Now they're starting to see it, aren't they? The fury, the power, the fire they couldn't extinguish. It's too late. They've already set the wheels in motion. You weren't just a survivor. You were a warrior in the making. They thought they were making you small, but all they did was shape you into something far stronger. You weren't some passive soul waiting for a handout. Nah, you were an uncut diamond. And now, it's your time to shine. They made the mistake of treating you like a shadow. Something to be ignored, dismissed, overlooked. But shadows don't stay in one place forever. They stretch, they grow, and they eventually swallow everything in their path. The longer they underestimated you, the more dangerous you became. They never saw the power inside you because they didn't have the vision. But you always knew what you were capable of. And now you've reached the moment of release. The storm inside you is no longer contained. You're no longer the person they thought would cower. Nah, you're the storm itself. The power you've been holding back, it's no longer something they can ignore. They will feel it whether they're ready or not. This is just the beginning. You've unlocked a version of yourself they never saw coming. The person they thought they could control, that person is gone. And in their place stands a force they can't stop. They'll regret underestimating you. You've become a hurricane, and there's nothing left to hold you back. They poked the wrong bear. They stirred something inside you that they can't put back in its cage. At first, they thought they could push you. They thought you were just another obstacle they could breeze past. But what they didn't realize is that every jab, every insult, every little move they made was feeding a beast inside you, a beast that had been patiently waiting for the right moment to show itself. They thought they had control. They thought they could handle you, but they couldn't be more wrong. They thought they could play their games, manipulate you, twist you into someone they could control. But all they did was light a fuse. And now the bomb is ticking. They've unleashed something they can't contain. You weren't some passive player in their game. Nah, you were a force in disguise, a quiet storm, biding its time. And they just made the biggest mistake of their lives by waking the beast. Every action they took was another misstep. They didn't understand what they were provoking. At first, they saw your silence as submission. They saw your restraint as weakness, but they were wrong. So wrong, because in that silence, in that calm, there was power building. Every word they said, every move they made was like striking the walls of a cage they never realized was about to break open. And now, no, it's out, it's free, and it's not looking back. What they didn't know was that you've always had this fire inside you, a rage so deep, so fierce, it could tear apart everything in its path. But you didn't use it, not at first. You were waiting for the moment when you could let it burn, and when they pushed you, when they thought they had you cornered, they didn't know they were lighting the spark. They didn't know they were stepping into a battle they were never prepared for. Now they're facing the consequences of their actions. Now they're running from the very thing they provoked. They thought they could handle you, thought they could break you down, but they forgot one crucial thing. You were never meant to be broken. You were meant to rise, and now that's exactly what you're doing, rising. And they're stuck watching as the very beast they woke up destroys everything they thought they controlled. They poked the wrong bear. They thought they could walk away unscathed, but there's no walking away now. There's no turning back. The beast is out, and it's hunting for the very things that dared to challenge it. They're about to learn a painful lesson. Some things should never be stirred. Some forces should never be provoked. And they They'll be the ones paying the price for their ignorance. They thought they had the upper hand, but all they did was awaken a power they could never have understood. A power that now they will never be able to stop. The beast is awake, and it's coming for them. Breaking you was never the goal, not really. They just wanted to keep you small, keep you doubting yourself, keep you trapped in the version of you that they could control. But the thing about control, it only works if the person being controlled doesn't realize their own power. And the second you woke up to who you really are, that's when the game ended. They thought they could mold you, bend you, shape you into something weak, something obedient. They fed you lies, played their mind games, made you question your own worth. But every time they underestimated you, they handed you another lesson. And lessons, they build something dangerous. They build someone who knows exactly how to rise. Then came the moment they never saw coming. The shift. The day you stopped waiting for their approval, stopped trying to explain yourself, stopped playing by their rules. And that's when the fear hit them. Because up until that point, they thought they were untouchable, thought they had you figured out. But when you stood up, when you refused to break, that's when they realized they were never the strong ones. Now, they watch from the sidelines, trying to make sense of what happened. How the person they tried to crush became something unshakable. How their little games backfired. And the worst part? There's nothing they can do about it. Because the real you, the one they tried to bury, is standing tall, walking away, and never looking back. It starts as a whisper in the back of their mind, a tiny voice telling them something isn't right. At first they ignore it, brush it off, pretend like nothing has changed. But deep down they feel it, the shift, the weight of the storm they created. And as the days pass, that whisper turns into a roar, a brutal, undeniable truth. They messed with the wrong one. Panic sets in, not all at once, but in waves. Every time they see you now, it's different. The way you walk, the way you carry yourself, that fire in your eyes that wasn't there before. They don't see the same person they once toyed with. No, that version of you is long gone, and the person standing before them, that's someone they don't recognize. Regret claws at their chest like a slow poison. They play the past over and over in their heads, trying to pinpoint the moment they lost control. Was it the first time they underestimated you? The moment they pushed too hard? Or was it when they looked into your eyes and saw something terrifying staring back? An unbreakable force that no longer feared them. They start to scramble, trying to fix what can't be fixed, but there's no going back, no way to undo what they've done. They turned you into something greater, stronger, untouchable, and now they have to live with the consequences. Every single day, they watch their mistake grow into something they can't contain, a force that won't be stopped. The realization hits them like a punch to the gut. They thought they were the ones in control, that they could play with fire without getting burned, but now as they stand frozen in their own fear, they finally understand they didn't control you. They never did. And now the only thing left for them is the crushing weight of what they've unleashed. At first they deny it, they tell themselves it's not real, that things will go back to the way they were. But reality doesn't care about their delusions. The truth looms over them like a shadow, stretching wider with every passing day. They feel it in the silence, in the way you no longer flinch, no longer seek their approval. They realize, too late, that they pushed you too far. Desperation kicks in. They scramble, trying to undo the damage, trying to stitch back the torn fabric of a past that no longer exists. The same voice that once belittled you now speaks softer, sweeter, dripping with forced sincerity. Let's talk. It was all a misunderstanding. I didn't mean it, but their words are empty, lies wrapped in desperation, and you see right through them. They try every trick they know, remorse, guilt, nostalgia. They dig up old memories, hoping to chain you to the past. But that past is dead, burned to ashes. They just don't want to accept that the person they used to control is gone, and in their heart they know the truth: you're never coming back. Every failed attempt eats away at them. They watch you rise, unstoppable, untouchable, while they sink under the weight of their regret. They never imagined a world where they weren't in control, but now they don't just see it, they feel it. It haunts them. The power they thought they had was an illusion, and the reality is far worse than their nightmares. They whisper to themselves that maybe, just maybe, if they try harder, if they act sweeter, if they play the victim, you'll turn around. But nah, that door is shut, bolted, sealed forever. They can beg, they can cry, but nothing will change the simple, cold truth. They created this storm, and now they have to live in it. The tables have turned. The ones who once held the chains now stand powerless, watching as you walk free. Their control, gone. Their influence, shattered. Now, every move you make reminds them of the power they lost. And the worst part? They know they can't do a damn thing about it. They used to pull the strings, whisper the lies, set the traps. But now they flinch when they see your name. Their stomach twists when they hear your voice. Because they know they have no say anymore. Their words don't touch you. Their games don't work. And that realization, it eats them alive. They underestimated you, thought they could break you, mold you, keep you under their thumb. But what they didn't see was the fire growing inside you, the strength they were feeding with every betrayal, every manipulation. Now that fire has consumed everything they built, and all that's left for them is regret. You hold the power now, and the irony, you don't even need to use it. You don't need revenge. You don't need to lift a finger, because they're already suffering. They wake up every day knowing they've lost you, knowing they can't fix it, knowing they pushed too far. That regret, that fear, that's their punishment. And it's one they'll carry forever. They watch from a distance, hoping for an opening. But you don't stop. You don't look back. You keep moving, rising, thriving. Their whispers turn to silence. Their schemes turn to dust. Because without control over you, they are nothing. And that's the real power shift. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need them. Nah, they need you. And that's the part they'll never escape. They thought it was just another game, just another name to toy with, another soul to control. But now every shadow makes them jump. Every silence feels deafening. Because deep down, they know what they did can't be undone. There's no escaping the storm they created, and it follows them everywhere. Every lie they told, every time they twisted the knife. It all comes back to them piece by piece, like echoes of a past they can't outrun. They see reminders of you in places they once felt safe. Your strength haunts them. Your absence suffocates them. And the worst part? They know they did this to themselves. They messed with something far greater than their shallow games. They thought they were pulling strings, but they were unraveling their own fate. Now, Every sleepless night is a reminder of the force they awoke, the power they tried to suppress. And they know, no matter what they do, they'll never regain control. Regret clings to them like a shadow. It whispers in their ears, taunts them with what they lost. They replay every moment, searching for the point where they could have stopped, where they could have chosen differently. But it's useless. The past is carved in stone, and the weight of their choices drags them down, deeper and deeper. They hear your name and their heart sinks. They see your success and it burns. Because you're still rising, still moving, and them, they're stuck in the ruins of their own making, watching. Wishing, but never escaping. Their greatest punishment isn't losing you, it's living every single day knowing they destroyed the only thing that could have saved them. They'll never admit it, nah. They'll act like they're fine, like they don't care, but you know better. You see it in the way they avoid your gaze, the way their voice falters when they speak your name, the way their laughter feels forced, empty. They wear the mask well, but underneath, they're drowning in fear, in regret, in the unshakable truth that they lost something irreplaceable. And the worst part? There's no way out, no apology can fix it, no excuse can erase it. They'll carry this weight for life, haunted by what could have been, by what they threw away. And you don't even need revenge. Their suffering is self-inflicted. Their nightmare is never-ending. And the cold truth is, it's exactly what they deserve.